often. And I'm not talking about on podcasts. Enough of that shit. Everybody's got a goddamn podcast. I'm not talking about that.
At the 2025 BET Awards, Kevin Hart didn't just host, he detonated. Mid-monologue, he turned his fire on Meghan Markle, dragging her designer-clad image through the comedy mud. Hart mocked her like she was a Netflix character trying too hard for a spin-off, roasting her carefully curated activist Duchess persona, and questioning if there's even a real person under all that PR polish. The Room, gasping, Twitter, melting, and Meghan, somewhere Googling how to trademark authenticity.
By her. They've stopped giving, as I said, a rat's backside whatever she says or does, haven't they?
I don't think they ever did. It's kind of like Meghan, give up. That war was always won by them before you even started it. I mean, it's ridiculous how this woman continues to pillage the royal family, to use their events to then skyrocket her own.
This wasn't just another celebrity roast, it was a cultural shift. Kevin Hart's jab landed with a precision that cut through the usual media fluff surrounding Meghan Markle. For years, comedians either tiptoed around her or avoided her altogether, afraid of the inevitable social media blowback. But this time, silence. No viral think pieces, no trending hashtags demanding an apology, no celebrity Instagram essays about grace and resilience. Just laughter.
Never complain and never explain was the late Queen's motto for royal PR. For Harry and Meghan, it's more a case of never reign and never abstain, especially when it comes to nauseating self-publicity, which invariably backfires.
Let's be honest, the royal to Hollywood pipeline has always come with a whiff of self-importance, but Meghan perfected the art of the earnest humble brag. From Duchess to docuseries Queen, every public move has felt like it came with a caption: empathy, but make it marketable. And up until now, anyone who dared question it was immediately cast as either sexist, racist, or both. No nuance allowed.
It's true, she thought she was marrying into billions and billions of dollars, and she quickly found out that the purse strings are very tight, especially when it comes to marrying someone who's 8th in line for the throne now.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart didn't care. He didn't coddle, didn't soften, and most importantly, he didn't miss. And the crowd's reaction? That was the real plot twist. They laughed. Loudly. Not because they're cruel, but because maybe, just maybe, the Meghan media bubble is finally deflating. When even a room full of A-listers stops pretending her narrative is bulletproof, you know the tides have turned. This wasn't about being mean. It was about being honest. And comedy, for the first time in a long time, did its job.
Meghan specifically, her social media gets a significant amount more views than the Prince and Princess of Wales. But I think that it's all about spectacle. I think it's almost shameless. It's less about substance, which is what we do get from the Prince and Princess of Wales. And it's more about clickbait and generating her own headline.
What Kevin Hart tapped into wasn't just a punchline, it was a pulse check. Because this moment didn't happen in a vacuum. It comes after a slow but steady unraveling of Meghan's brand, where the once glowing halo of modern royalty has been replaced with something colder, more calculated. And now, even Hollywood, the same industry that once rolled out the red carpet for her every quote and close-up, is starting to shrug.
News. Meghan's almost instant, farcically feeble response, unveiling her new range of dog biscuits. Not news at all. As a media ploy, a barking mad non-starter. In terms of her blizzard of social media activity and increasingly frenetic semi-revelations about her confusing business plans, it's hard to work out what precisely is occurring on Planet Meghan. But she's sure as hell trying.
Behind the scenes, the cracks are showing. Production deals fizzling. Endorsements stalling. Public enthusiasm tepid at best. The very circles that once embraced her as a symbol of resilience are quietly distancing themselves. The humanitarian world in particular is growing wary of a figure whose activism feels more like PR strategy than moral mission. You can only attach your name to so many causes before people start asking, what do you actually stand for?
Really, Meghan shared that bedside twerking video, taken shortly apparently before she gave birth to Lilibet. Remember the child that she named after the Queen's private nickname that was given to by Duke of Edinburgh, without getting permission from the Queen. Anyway, it was to silence online trolls, apparently, who basically claimed she was never pregnant at all. Instead, the videos emboldened conspiracy theorists. They're calling it Megspiracy, and the pair are being subjected to yet more merciless ridicule.
Critics say Meghan's public image has evolved into a kind of prestige cosplay, where every speech sounds test-screened, Every outfit looks curated for a Pinterest board labeled empowerment, and every interview doubles as a TED Talk audition. It's not that people resent her ambition, it's that they no longer trust the packaging. So when Kevin Hart stood on stage and cracked the facade wide open, it wasn't just a joke, it was confirmation.
And I did think that her baby bump in that twerking video looked kind of weird, but then again, I'm no expert. I mean, dare we say it? Of course she's pregnant. There's a lot of fake pregnant.
There was a time when Meghan Markle could do no wrong. Every appearance sparked headlines. Every soundbite turned into a viral mantra. She was hailed as a disruptor, a modern royal tearing down centuries-old walls with a smile and a speechwriter. But fast forward to now, and the glow has dimmed. The narrative has shifted from trailblazer to try hard. In the world she once aimed to conquer, Hollywood, Meghan is starting to feel more like a guest who overstayed her welcome.
And it seems to happen the whole time, really, which is people do act in character, and she's very demanding. She's difficult to work with. She has her ideas of what she wants to do, and she doesn't seem to want to listen to anybody else.
The glitzy partnerships, the high-profile projects, the promise of a media empire, they've mostly fizzled into a long list of underwhelming outcomes. Netflix, quiet, Spotify, canceled. The only thing making noise now is the growing consensus that she's more invested in image than substance. She still talks about empowerment, equality, and social change, but somehow it all feels oddly detached.
26, well, that's a year away. It's not like, if Nike doesn't just devise a caption of just do it, but only sometimes. The iPhone wasn't created in 2007 and then we'll just think about that. We might not bring it through until 2009. The Invictus Games, you don't have them every 3 years, you have them every 2 years because that's how it works.
And that's the danger of building a brand entirely on virtue without vulnerability. Once the public decides your purpose is performative, it's hard to win them back, especially in an industry that demands relevance be earned daily. Meghan isn't being silenced, she's being tuned out. Not because she's controversial, but because she's become predictable. The irony? In trying so hard to control the narrative, she's lost control of it.
Well, I'd like to just reiterate the 1% comment. I mean, is this not the perfect example of I am completely unrelatable? I've been given so many opportunities because of my proximity to the British royal family that I have spoken so horribly about. I tormented the Queen in the last few years of her life. I tormented Prince Philip in the last few years of his life. And now I've tormented King Charles in the last few years of his life.
And just when you thought the week couldn't get more humbling, came the BET Awards snub. Not an oversight, not a scheduling conflict, a straight-up rejection. Meghan Markle didn't skip the ceremony. She wasn't invited. According to sources close to the organizers, her name came up and was promptly shut down. That's not just exclusion, that's a message.
You see what she says about cake? She's describing a cake. She's so beautiful on the inside, and you just don't know how good she is until you go deep and you get to know her. What's the subtext there?
She's talking about a cake in that way. She's going a bit Nigella Lawson.
She's talking about making tea. Tea's got to be in a silk bag, steeped in the sun.
Quite a
significant moment for me.
Yeah. Because let's be honest, if there's any place where public image meets cultural relevance, it's an award show like BET. It's not just about who's trending, it's about who matters. And apparently Meghan didn't make the cut. It was, frankly, hilarious. She spent years courting Hollywood, crafting this meticulously packaged image of royalty meets radicalism. And when the curtains finally opened, the industry yawned.
She introduces the first friend in the programme. Is her makeup artist.
Yes.
She's an employee.
Yes, exactly. How else do you get your 5 fruit in a style?
But also, the makeup artist is not going to criticise anything, is she? Because she's an employee for now.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the top journalists...
What made Kevin Hart's roast sting wasn't just the joke, it was the silence that followed. No outrage, no damage control, no celebrity think pieces rushing to her defense. That absence spoke louder than any punchline. Because when a star like Meghan Markle, once shielded by layers of PR armor and social justice buzzwords, gets roasted on a national stage without backlash, that's not comedy. That's a cultural reset.
to know that she's just getting these
Constantly.
little digs in all the time, which means that she can't quite disengage herself from being royal. Why would she? It's the only reason that she actually has a platform, and yet she has to keep having a go at them. She's smart enough to know that we'll be talking about it if she has a go, so it keeps her in the news cycle, which means Netflix keeps hiring her, because even if the ratings aren't great, which they weren't, the fact that she's constantly being discussed means that, you know, she's a bona fide person to be engaging with.
For years, Meghan occupied a kind of celebrity force field. Any criticism was instantly reframed as bigotry, any scrutiny labeled unfair. She became the untouchable avatar of progress, above reproach, above satire, above consequence. But now, the spell's broken. Kevin Hart didn't just tell a joke, he tested the waters. And the crowd didn't flinch. That's what makes this moment so significant. It didn't come from tabloids or fringe media. It came from one of the biggest names in comedy, on one of the biggest nights in entertainment.
Right?
You did a great job.
What are you doing out of the attic, Harry? Get back in the attic. Get back in there. Who let you out? It's too sunny for him for a start. Anyway, well done, Meghan. You arranged some fruit on a plate. You gave kids goodie bags full of seeds and Manuka honey. And you were paid something like $100 million.
The public no longer sees Meghan as off-limits. Her image, once carefully wrapped in symbolism and struggle, is now open to the same scrutiny, skepticism, and sarcasm every other celebrity gets. In other words, the Meghan Markle exception clause has expired. And for someone who built her brand on being beyond critique, that's the real punchline.
It just seems to confirm what we all already knew. Their life is fake, vacuous, devoid of any real friends, and horrendously out of touch. They traded the royal family, our royal family, for that rubbish.
I've decided to issue my own advice to the Duchess of Sussex about her new Netflix programme. Here's a moment from the new documentary.
People would watch this and go, oh, right, but I don't have all this space at home. And that's why I think the value of what you've done with the idea of urban farming, or even if you're just in a little flat in London or a small apartment in the city, what people can do that can feel like they have some small piece of this.
Despite the global press tours, the royal exit press blitz, and multi-million-dollar backing from platforms like Netflix, Meghan Markle's Hollywood stock is quietly tanking. The same streaming giants that once hailed her as the next media mogul are now politely ghosting her. What was supposed to be a content empire has become a case study in overhype and underdelivery. Her debut documentary with Prince Harry dropped with a splash, then vanished.
Look, the reason why this is so hilarious is that it has been an open secret inside of the company, apparently now, for months, about how much of a grifter this woman is. Enough for Bill Simmons over at the Ringer podcast, which was acquired by Spotify, to call Harry and Meghan, quote, a fucking grifter on his latest podcast. Here's what he had to say.
I wish I had been involved in the Meghan and Harry leave Spotify negotiation. The grifters. That's the podcast we should have launched with them.
Spotify pulled the plug. Netflix sitting on development deals that seem to be gathering more dust than momentum. It's not just the projects, it's the persona. Hollywood runs on charisma and mystique, and Meghan's brand is starting to feel like a recycled press release. She's styled like an icon, scripted like a self-help guru, and managed like a product. And that's the problem. People don't connect with products, they connect with personalities.
So Bill actually reveals that not only did he call him that, he reveals that he did a private Zoom call with Harry about ideas for how their podcast.
So there you have it. Meghan Markle got roasted by Kevin Hart, and it wasn't just funny. It was hilariously bad. Not for Kevin, who delivered the hits like a pro, but for Meghan, whose carefully airbrushed public image got shredded in under 30 seconds on live television. No PR team could spin it. No hashtag could save it. And maybe that's the point. When even Hollywood stops pretending, the facade starts to crumble. So what do you think? Is Meghan finally facing the same scrutiny as every other celebrity? Or is this just a one-off moment of brutal honesty in a world still full of spin? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you're tired of the media bubble, and subscribe for more breakdowns that actually say what everyone else is thinking. See you next time.